Good morning students and welcome back to chemistry class. So we were learning about some pure substances where we found that elements and compounds were pure substances. They are considered to be pure substances. Now why elements are considered to be pure substances? Because it cannot be broken down or it cannot be transformed into a new substance, okay, by any kind of physical or chemical ways, okay. So elements are made up of one kind of atoms only and hence they are considered to be pure. Similarly, a compound is a pure substance because it is composed of two or more different atoms where they are chemically bonded to one another. So a compound can be destroyed by chemical means. Now here you see, if we talk about compound like potassium chloride, sodium chloride, okay, any compound, where we will see that there will be two or more elements. Suppose potassium chloride, there are two elements, potassium and chlorine. So two different atoms are there and they are bonded to one another by a chemical bond. So in this case the bond is ionic, okay. So generally these kind of compounds where there will be two or more different kind of atoms or same atoms where they are chemically bonded to one another are always considered to be pure, okay. Now when we move to the elements, we have found that the elements are further categorized into three, that is metals, non-metals and metalloids. So in the last class we have learned about the characteristics of metals, like metals are ductile, metals are good conductors of electricity, metals are malleable, metals are mostly or generally solids at room temperature except mercury, which is a liquid. The melting and boiling points are very high, isn't it? So all metals are generally solids, but they're hard solids, but there will be again exception where we'll find that sodium and potassium are two metals which are soft metals and can be cut with a knife. So metals are sonorous. Then next we have learned about the non-metals, where we have seen that non-metals are not lustrous as the metals. They are poor conductors of electricity or bad conductor of electricity, but remember exception is there. Graphite, which is a form of carbon, is a good conductor of electricity, okay. So there will be some exceptions always. Then they cannot be drawn into wires, they do not produce any sound, okay. And in non-metals you will find that the elements will be in all the three states. That means they will be in solid, the liquid and as well as the gases, okay. Then they are brittle like this. Then in metalloids, what did we see? That they are generally solids and they have a special character where we will find that there is a characteristic of both metals as well as the non-metals. So examples we have learned that boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony and tellurium, okay. And we have seen that the metalloids are lustrous, but they are poor conductors of electricity, most of them, okay. But you know there will be metals like which are very unique in nature because they have the properties of both metals and non-metals, okay. But remember that silicon and germanium, they are always used in semiconducting devices. Then I will go to another topic, that is mixture, okay. So we were talking about compounds and elements which had one type of atoms and which cannot be broken down into different forms, like we have learned all of that in elements. But in case of mixtures, we'll see that it's different. So mixture means it will be a composition of two or more substances that are not chemically combined to each other, okay. So the properties of mixtures, you see, the components of a mixture each keep their original properties. Suppose you have a mixture of iron with sulfur, iron filling with sulfur. Now here you will see that iron is a metal, sulfur is a non-metal, okay. Now they have iron will have its own magnetic properties, but sulfur will have its own properties, but which is non-magnetic in nature. The separation of components can be easily done. Suppose iron fillings and sulfur, we can easily separate them. Just bring a piece of magnet near it, you will see that all the iron fillings will be attracted towards it. So we can easily separate iron fillings from sulfur, okay. The proportion of the components is variable, yes. In this case mixture, you will see the composition will always be variable. But in compounds, we have seen, like in water, the composition is always fixed, that is the ratio of oxygen and hydrogen will always be fixed, that is 2:1. Okay, examples of mixtures you see, a mixture of organic compounds, mainly hydrocarbons, then seawater, that is a mixture of various mineral salts. Then air, which is a mixture of different kind of gases. Ink, which is a mixture of colored dyes. Then gunpowder, like it is a mixture of sulfur, potassium nitrate and carbon. Okay, and we'll see that mixtures are of two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. So let us see. So there are two types of mixtures, homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixture. So they are discussed. Let us see with an example. A mixture of sand is mixed with salt is an example of heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture possesses different properties and compositions in various parts. The properties are not uniform throughout the mixture. So examples of heterogeneous mixtures: air, oil, water. So these are all the example of heterogeneous mixture. Okay. So they will have different properties and different composition. Now let us see what is a homogeneous mixture. So sugar mixed with water. Yes, now we are coming to a solution. Sugar is mixed with water. It is homogeneous in nature, isn't it? Homogeneous mixture can be defined as those which possess the same properties and composition throughout the mass. So the property of salt when dissolved in water or the property of sugar when dissolved in water will be the same throughout the solution. So example of homogeneous mixture are alloys. Alloys means different kind of alloys we have, like brass, bronze. Okay, brass is an alloy of copper and zinc. Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin. Then stainless steel, we have the metals like iron. We have carbon also as a non-metal. Then we have nickel there. We have chromium there. So these all mixtures of different kind of metals and non-metals. Then we have salt and water. Then alcohol in water. These are all what? Homogeneous mixture, because the composition is uniform throughout. But in case of heterogeneous mixture, it will have a varied composition. The composition is not uniform. Okay, and it can be easily separated in case of a heterogeneous mixture. Okay, by physical means also. But in case of a homogeneous mixture, you need some special chemical means by which we can separate the components of a mixture. So my dear students, we have come to the end of the second lesson, that is matter around us pure. Let me tell you one thing, whatever is discussed, you have to take down the notes since you are in class 9 now. You cannot depend only on the question answers which is given at the end of your chapter or the in-text questions. That enough will not do. You have to go through the specific keywords, the terms, the procedures, the different things which are discussed. That one you need to know each and everything in detail. So you should always prepare a note on what is done in the class or what is discussed in the class. So my dear children, we'll end up here today and see you in the next class with some concept review of the chapter. So goodbye.